Welcome back, my sinners, to the continuation and the finale of Not for Broadcast. Now this time, as we play the game, we're going to stop and dissect it a little bit. We're going to talk about what works and what doesn't work, and if this game might be right for you. Now I know a lot of people love them, but I don't play text-based games. And at times when you're going through these text portions of the game that help illuminate the story, it feels like a novel. And with a medium like a video game, you're able to get visual stimulation and you come to expect it. These draw on a lot longer than I would expect, and you're pretty much just using your mind to put together the play box of these characters. Their looks, their expressions, their cadence. I would much rather read this accompanied by illustrations created by the developers that showcase exactly what they want us to see. Otherwise, I don't feel too involved with this portion, and I want to get right to the nitty-gritty of being in the broadcast room. Ah yes, the spice ménage. The real meat and potatoes of the game, the broadcast room. Johnny Nut Tickler's calling us right now, but throughout most of the game we're talking to this other fella who directs us on the simple mechanics of the game and what our job is going to entail. But now we got Mr. Nutlicker talking to us now, who's going to speak to you in a little bit of a condescending way, plus a little bit of, it's okay, shh, little guy, we'll play together at the softball game, it's okay. Anyway, I love swiveling in the office chair, it feels very ergonomic. Another thing to point out, there's a lot of fine, meticulous, and subtle details that you could find. You could turn on the fan to alleviate your swamp ass. And now there's even a thunderstorm outside to show that God is mad for showing the Mr. Snugglehugs commercial. Anyway, I like the idea that not only do you have to play the game, but you have to be responsible in a way. So not only do you have choices to make, but you actually have to do some basic maintenance. In this case, turn on your power grid. The game also makes you prepare for the day. Sometimes that includes some not so subtle hinting from your higher ups to play a certain ad.
But make sure you play the advanced advert, preferably at the second break.
Or you're given free reign to choose whatever you want. That's pretty much why I chose Johnny Hamsleeves and Mr. Snugglehugs. I'm not proud of it, but I'm owning it. All in all, the preparedness I really like. Not only am I responsible for the choices I make in the game, but I'm also responsible for the foundation of which it lies on. I don't flip the switch, the button don't work. Yes.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe.
Now, going along with the trend of making your own choices, throughout the broadcast, sometimes you're going to be given the choice to choose between a few different images. The reporters then change their story based off of the context of the image you chose. Now, at times, you're going to be asked to push a certain agenda, be it in the story before the actual day at work or via the phone call.
Trapped in Dante's taint for more than a month now.
And you have to choose if you want to show propaganda messages to the masses, or silly, or even revolutionary viewpoints.
Naked protest.
Johnny Hamsleeves and Tiffany Lamour were spotted having a private moment out at lunch today.
And because this is only an early release of the game, I personally haven't seen any retaliation or consequences for the choices that I made. I'm thinking when the full game releases, we eventually will.
This groundbreaking product came as quite a shock when it was revealed earlier today.
The male contraceptive pill is heralding a sexual revolution.
Now, throughout your trials with propaganda and corruption, you'll be given a bunch of mini-games below you on the control panel. You'll have to censor words like and ballsack, son of a bitch, pickle licker, dickhead, bitch. And you'll have to play tick-tock Flappy Bird to avoid the Taffy Atari interference. You'll have to switch back and forth between feeds, producing the highest visual value for your audience, and thus raising your ratings. You could also lose viewers and make everybody mad at you by switching from the intent broadcast over to Jeremy looking like he's high on shrooms. Anyway, the world is your oyster. But all in all, it adds a sense of responsibility, and I really dig the extra challenge of it. Now, it threw a lot of humor into the game, which I really appreciate it, and as you see as we play through, there's going to be a lot more of that, both subliminally and right in your face.
We should never have advertised Mr. Snugglehugs.
I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Tadlock and their 7-year-old son, Timothy.
But whose idea was this anyway?
It's all right. I'm going to speak to Timmy now. Hello, Timmy. Can you see me?
Mummy?
Can you tell us what happened to you? You had just unwrapped Mr. Snugglehugs, hadn't you?
Yes, I could smell him already.
Ah, yes. That'll be the fur. It's scented with hoof.
He blinked his real action eyes and said, "You're my very best friend." And then it said General Error 41.
And is that when he burst into flames? And am I right in saying that one of his real action eyes is now permanently embedded in your cheek?
Yes. When I took him in at night, it glows through bandages. I know it's under there, staring at me.
Yeah, some of the other children have started calling him Timmy Three Eyes. And then with his glasses, that's 5.
It's too many eyes, Robin.
And what's the last thing you remember before the darkness overtook you?
He looked at me with his one eye and laughed. Laughed as he burned.
Oh, you've made him cry with all 3 of his eyes!
Do you think your parents will ever really love you again?
Right, that's it, enough! Come on,
I'm happy, Mr. So there you have it, Megan.
Thank you, Robin. Harrowing stuff.
Also, you're going to want to make sure that you're constantly switching between camera angles and feeds. I like this because it acts as sort of a juggling act, and you become more enthralled with the idea that you're actually manning the broadcast booth.
Oh, sorry, I'm bursting.
Watch your back, Jeremy. Women are coming.
I'm more worried about this water too than my head.
And an enlarged prostate.
Alex.
This can cause trouble starting to pee, and it can cause laundry-based trouble between you and your she-demon of an ex-wife.
I'm pretty sure that guy's on a list.
In your bum.
But first, we're going now to our own Patrick Bannon, who's reporting live from the finals of the new game that's gripping the nation, Sports Board.
That's right, Megan. You join me live here from the final of the first annual Sports Board Championship. First up, we have Ellie Striker. She's the more experienced of our 2 players today. Striker's known for her signature move, the Orangi hamster. It's Mr. Wingspan himself, Tommy, the fingernail Harris. The slapping ceremony is taking part. Nice start there from Striker. She's determined not to let the nerves show. Using his arm to pick up the ball. Using his arm to pick up the ball. Not a bad shot there. Right. She's gone to sort of throwing it under her legs. Not bad if you ask me. A ball in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Now we have the ceremonial changing of the ends. And of course now they go back to the starting positions, as that makes sense. Okay, you seem to have some sort of streak on the pitch.
Not only should you be showing what's being currently talked about on screen in your feed, but you might have to keep a bird's eye view on the left and keep your audience feed from seeing any inappropriate details. So even though you want to be focused on screen too, dangly bits might be flying towards this guy like a horny meteor about to strike Earth, and your best bet is to pop over to the trash can. Yeah, that's right, that's where you belong.
And was that a fitted thumb screw? And we know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. That is, of course, the ground sound. Of course, the ground sound. Okay, another posh protester loose on the court here. We don't apologise for that. He's running around here with his genitals on display for all to see. Now he's thrusting himself in Harris's face. With his genitals flying around for all to see. And a lovely finish there on both sides of the bucket. I'd love to know what's going on in these 2 players' heads, but unfortunately, because of science, we can't. That ball boy's giving me the eye all the day. What's going on? And it dribbled down his arm. And Striker's gone for the animal bonus there, but of course, perhaps... And yes, Harris has counted with a tiny bell. That is wonderful play. Not bad there. He threw it quite far away from him, which is quite a good idea. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, his breasts and genitals for all to see. Yes, very good. Take them away. Bloody wasters. Absolute wasters. And of course, as it's a Tuesday, the final round is a mime round. Nice imaginary shot there from Harris. She's juggling it around from her hands. And she's put it in her mouth like as if it was an egg, and now she's and she's spat it out. She did the egg spit, and he's peeling it as if it were a banana, which is an interesting move. And he's throwing it, and the banana was the ball. Unfortunately, that is the end. What a pathetic. There we go, Jeremy. That is over. The referee now to announce it to make sure it is all official.
And the winner of the first annual Sports Board Championship is everyone.
Okay. When we come back. I'll be talking live with Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement.
Fucking microphone shocked me.
What?
Fucking microphone just shocked me. Where's that sound guy?
Just heard from the chaps in maintenance that the storm is causing the odd power surge. Some of your controls might be a bit dangerous.
Welcome back. I am delighted to be joined by Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement.
You know when you open the door to a store and the electric shock hits you right in the fingernail and you curse every god in existence? I'm willingly playing Russian roulette with my pretty fingies here. But another very creative idea to throw in a little bit of challenge to the game.
Whingers most. There are some pissants who just don't know how to be happy. So he'd just take a shit right there in the lounge while we were watching football. He wouldn't even wait till half time.
What the hell? Now I'm friggin' Palpatine. Do it. Do it.
Just giving me electric shock.
Are you okay?
Do it.
Jesus, I lost your face, fucker! That one was massive! With a rusty twat by
Prime Minister Meg yet to be announced.
We're only getting started.
That's all we have time for tonight. My name's Jeremy Johnson. If you can, have a peaceful night.
And we're out. Good job, everybody.
So they just...
It seems so.
I don't suppose there's any way this could be a good thing.
It's my nephew, so we transitioned the moment I saw the leak.
Good evening. You know who we are. You've seen our symbols on your walls. We are the Resistance, and it's time you knew the truth.
What do you mean I can't say that?
Advance is lying to you.
How can we help you if we don't know who you are?
More than all of this, he was my laughter, my confidant, my friend.
Elderly are not a burden.
So, Mum's made the decision to unburden us, and now we have the chance to start a family.
Membership card is an ID card, no matter what they tell you.
We are getting reports of... oh God. Millions of deaths across the continent.
Doesn't your family deserve a nutritious life?
Understand this. There is something wrong with the food.
No more! I've had enough of this shit!
You are not afraid.
Thank you, my sinners, for joining me for the final episode of Not For Broadcast, the early access version. And guys, let me know down in the comments below what you thought of my criticism of the heavily text-based story development areas. Are stories in video games more synonymous with visual cues to you, or do you mind taking the time to create the physical appearances in your head? Me, I felt like it drew on too long, and I wasn't as engaged with the actual story versus the gameplay, because being in that video game mindset, I expected the physical world to be laid out for me. There's tons of dry and tongue-in-cheek humor in this. It's wonderfully entertaining, and I never felt bored playing this game. Leave me a like, guys, it's always appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe and hit that bell so you're always notified when any one of my new videos drops. Until next time, my sinners. Bye-bye.